Hi, everyone, and welcome to Wall Strategies. I'm using the wall as a plumb line today, and this is to help us keep our nice spine alignment. So we have a soft S curve. Sorry about the hair. I was hoping to dye my hair before I got to talk to you guys. And I've also gained weight, so you'll notice that in the workouts. Don't hold it against me. And then also, I probably will be failing at a lot of this, so we'll work with this together, okay, which is a good thing. Okay, so we're going to start with a warm-up. I'm going to use this wall over here, so I'm coming over here, and I'm just going to look at lengthening my neck, pulling my rib cage right on top of my hips. If you find that you can't be all the way up here and it just feels like you're hyperextending in your back or your neck, then I'm going to have you walk your feet forward a little bit. So let's get the strategy for the thoracic first and the long neck, and we'll work out the hips as you work with this program. I hope you do, or take portions of it, and just think of, we need to be able to zip a zipper up the back, be able to breathe better through our whole rib cage and abdominals, kind of working together as a team, like a cylinder breath. And we're going to just start with the arms going up and down. Then I'll move over a little bit. I can see that you need a little bit more view of my arms. And again, lift and lower. And while you're doing that, you're kind of keeping this neutral, all right? You're not letting your back arch. I'm not seeing how high I can lift my arms. I'm just going to work with whatever I have. So long neck, no tightness in my back, nice breathing. And let's go ahead and we're going to exhale on the up. Exhale and inhale on the down. And you can change that. You can inhale on the up and exhale on the down. Just remember, we do lat pull downs and we do shoulder presses. And both of them have different breathing patterns. Okay, and we're going to go a little wider. So I'm going to go out here and maybe stop at my chest, keep a nice alignment with my shoulders. And I'm going to see how far I can use. Remember, these are strategies and no expectations. So how far I can move my arms without tensing my neck, arching my back, pushing pressure into my toes where I'm curling my toes. And let's go a little wider. And again, I'm going to work on an exhale breath because I need to work a little bit more on bracing. So my up is going to be my exhale. I have tightness through the pecs. So, and especially now, especially because I don't work on it as much. And then 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Okay. So just like so, opening that up into frontal plane. You guys observe your scapula and how it moves. Does your right scapular shoulder blade move well and your left is barely moving? Try to work on the non-productive because we want shoulder movement. And then arm circles. So think of your arms, keep that long neck, keep this strategy in your long spine without tensing it, not squeezing the hips on the side, not gripping your butt, not tucking your pelvis, and then go the other way, and just a nice fluid arm circle. Remember, you're warming up. And I love this against the wall because people tend to, in their warm-ups, over squeeze and drop through their chest, thinking the most exaggerated movement is the best movement, and that's not necessarily so. So your upper arms should get a tired feeling to them. Turn the palms in, and let's move bent elbow, move this back and move it to your side. So now my elbows are bent, makes it easier for me to bring it back without popping my upper back, my thoracic forward, all right? And what I want you to do is take a set where it's challenging, still a stretch of the neck, but you have to actually work on it, maybe hold it up there, and then take an easy set where you don't have to work so hard on it. Take a set that you have to stay up here, you got to readjust and re-strategize what you're doing when your arms go up, and then take a set where you don't have to think much about it. All right, let's do 2 more. Work on breathing. Please don't squeeze or impinge your hips and cheeks or tense up your hamstrings. Okay, and as you do this, it gets easier. Your body just learns a better behavior instead of forcing it to do something it's not used to. And then shake out those arms. All right, so we're gonna face, now we're facing it, the wall. It is the wall. And let's do the first thing. I'm gonna send my arms up. I'm gonna play with my destination. So when I lift my, let's say my left knee, I want my knee to touch the wall without me tucking and shrugging my shoulders. So I need the length here, the roundness here, and not gripping or tensing up your hips. So we're trying to make a mobile, and then my arms are staying up exactly where I don't have to squeeze my neck, and then repeat, okay? So for me, you know, whatever my femur line is, and I can still keep that natural curve, and I don't hip hike. I'm gonna do a hip hike so you can see that. You can see that I'm lifting one hip higher, and then I'm also start gripping my whole hip joint. My shoulders are shrugged, my body's off to the side. So I don't want you to try so hard. Take your feet apart a little bit, and that will make your work a little more challenging. And be aware of what your pelvis does. Does it do a lot of twisting, a lot of teeter-tottering, and see if you can use the muscles to stretch and not compromise the lower back. Okay, so I'm starting here. My arms are up. Also, notice this a lot like doing a bird dog standing up. You know, how are you working with your feet, guys? Do your arches roll down? Do your ankle roll out? Have you sprained your ankles through your life many times? Do you have a nice tripod foot? And not a lot of movement here in the lower spine, all right? That there might be a little bit of action, but boy, it's not a lot, especially if one side does a lot and the other side does none. Okay, and then we're gonna bring our hands on their chest and abs and do the same thing with the lengthening the back of your legs. So I want you to imagine your hamstrings getting long. Let's hold for about 5 seconds. Square up your hips. Pull your rib cage, your thoracic right on top of your hips, and then switch. What does that feel like? Also, work on, are you got only your balls, your feet on here? Can you outstretch your calf? So I'm gonna hold it. Like I said, you're gonna see me fail a lot. I'm also tight in the hips. If you've been sitting and watching Netflix more lately, you're going to really notice that you might be having to do some tennis ball release work, all right? And this is just, so my leg would go lower because A, I don't have very much flexion in my ankle, and B, I might be squeezing my hips to get up higher, which is not what I want to do. Again, I want to keep it stacked, and I also want the length in the legs. All right, length in the legs, keep it stacked. Okay, it's almost as if I drew a line from here and drew a line from here. You can see I'm a little short and through my knee, from the back of my knee, which is the connectors to my hamstrings and butt. So I could technically tell you that I definitely compromise back here, okay? All right, so that is one thing, and then we're going to turn around and we're gonna start working on our hinge. So I'm gonna come up against the wall. I train this different ways, but today we're gonna do against the wall. I want you to pull your hips, lengthen your hamstrings, put your hands right on top of your iliac crest, pull that up and over, lengthen your back, watch your knees over tensing up, pull it up as much as you can. I use my hands at first, and then sit on a bar stool, okay? And then bring it up. Imagine your hips going up the wall. Imagine your hamstrings getting long. I do put my hands on my hips. I try to create this, the hip coming up and over, my hamstrings getting longer. and I lengthen out. Instead of my head going down like this, I try to think of my head going to the opposite wall. Really open that up. I don't care how low I go right now. I'm just working on not crushing it in my hips. And then I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to sit on a bar stool. Okay, I'm tracking my knees forward, really planting my feet. I should have a lot of freedom in here because I am not compromising my hips by gripping them, all right? And then repeat. Lift them up, okay? Think of your spine going long. See if you put a lot of tension here. Most people do, including myself. So I kind of try to get that to stretch more here. Try to keep this more focused. I don't go low if I'm compromising, all right? And if I'm sitting a lot, which I feel like I have been lately, then I am, remember working, I was only sitting in the car practically. The rest of the time I was up. And then, again, bring yourself up. When you come up, your back shouldn't shorten up and your hips shouldn't grip, all right? Otherwise, don't go that low because you got to change the behavior. Got to change your strategy. Okay, let's do one more. Pull the hips up. Watch the knees locking backwards. And I just keep a slight soft. I'm not bending, actually. I'm just not stiffening either. Okay, I imagine my my sits bones walking up the wall. Imagine my hip coming over the front. You guys know that, some of you know that I talk about this being like a turnabout, that the cars enter here and go up, and the other cars come around and go back this way, okay? So just imagine it, open it up, because we tend to grip our hips, our hip bones, and our ball socket of our joints. And so I'm just trying to get you to work that a little different way. Now let's go into that wall squat. You can walk your feet forward. I'm not much caring about how low you go because I want to make sure that you don't have that in your knee. I also want to make sure that you are not pushing in a downward position back here. So we're going to hinge forward just a bit and then hold it in this position. And then I'm going to have you bring your shoulder blades together in a mock 2-arm row and maybe a back row. And then give me the longest spine, wrap your rib cage, but keep this open, all right? And we're just gonna do a couple of these. And who should stabilize me and work really hard are my thighs. So transfer it out of your arms and really hold it on the front of your legs, okay? If you have a tendency to grip, please take a break. Come back, come up, do your hip hinge, pull your hips up and over, re-strategize, come back, and maybe this time this row would be here. So I'm in a seated position, I'm in a squat, I'm making sure that I am not tensing up my hips in this squat, but I'm making my legs do the work. Spread your toes out, guys. Anchor your toes and heels evenly into the floor and release, and then bring that up, all right? Shake out your legs, guys. All right, so we're going to step forward. We're going to take that squat, and we're going to work on doing it more like a split step. Now, what I like about the wall is I am just anchoring exactly where I can open. Like I'm not taking a huge step. I'm going to just do a split step, meaning not too far apart. All right, and then working a strategy for not putting that pressure, because if I go too far and I'm not really strong enough, I'm going to start tucking my hips. So I'm going to pull up on my hips. I'm going to take that same strategy. I am going to work my hamstrings up. I'll have more work on the left hip. How does that pelvis turn for you? If it's turned too far one direction, your body will aim one way. Your hip will aim the other way. So put your hands on your hips and identify things like that. Maybe some people have a hip hike, which throws your SI off and makes you start protecting when your SI goes off. So put your hands on your hips, feel the stretch in the hamstring mostly on the front leg. Okay, give me a couple of rows just to get that feel. Okay, and then hands on the chest and abs and lift that up. All right, and then let's do the same thing with the other leg. I use my weight on that foot, on the back foot, I just anchor it, okay, and now my weight is mostly on the front leg. So I'm gonna pull this up. Again, I'm gonna square up my hips. I'm going to think of my, especially the right leg, it's gonna come up. I'm trying not to twist my spine. My left foot helps anchor me. I'm pulling that up as much as I can. If this is difficult for you guys, go back to either shorten it, don't come down as low, just don't grip in the hip and think you better go down lower. Give me that spread out toe and the nice tripod foot, and give me some back moves. In my back moves, I don't feel tight. I don't have a band. So it should have freedom of scapula movement. Okay, and then hands on the chest and abs, push the foot down, and keep the hips open when you come up. If I squeeze back here, I'll feel the pressure on my lower back. If you do that, that's kind of a habit of the workout's too hard. So maybe I would just stop and then reorganize and come back up again so that you're training yourself not to keep that way or that method of how to get yourself back up, all right? And that might be a good homework assignment. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to use a scale. Same thing. So I'm going to switch legs again, and I'm going to take my foot forward, and I'm going to move my right foot back first. Now, I'm squaring myself up. My knee is facing forward. I'm watching my arch system. And again, I'm going to do a row that comes forward a little bit more, and then down. So up here by my ear, down here. Now, I shouldn't be squeezing. That's what I do when I don't have good balance, is squeeze the side of my hips. My leg is going to be pushing into the wall, guys. My leg is going to be pushing into the wall. My foot is going to really work the floor. So I have 2 ground points. And then I'm here, and I better be bracing all this. So if you're touching it and it's all squishy, man, I'm going to come right back here to exactly where I can absolutely work. I have to earn the right to get to go down lower, and I don't force it down there because all it does is make me tighten my hips. Switch legs, same thing. The first thing I do is not lower my upper body. I lift my leg. Now, I see if I can square myself up. Does my rib cage come up and in? Can I hinge at my hips? This side is harder for me. So you might see me, I'm shaking. It's not an earthquake, that's my body moving. Okay, and then again, what's my foot like? Is it all over the place? Is my arch system going up and down? And then again, I'm reaching out, and I'm gonna just lower and lift. Really, when my arms go out, I try to make my whole spine longer, really own the left foot against the wall, really own the right foot on the floor. And again, what's your knee doing? Is it overworking? Is it tensing up? Okay, and release, and let that go. You can do that. Also, this one also can be more complicated. So again, let's say I decide I want to make it harder. So I'm going to move forward more. I still take the leg up. I still square my hips up. Once you look at the video, guys, make sure you're not staring at the recorder, okay? Because I'm going to get my neck long. So I have it here, and I'm going to, as I lower, I'm going to bend my knee. And as I lift, I'm going to lengthen myself out. So I can add a little bit more work. I can also make it a row, like we're reaching down and pull and down, hip hinge and pull, okay? So you can add, let's do the other leg just in case you said, okay, I did one leg, Sabrina. All right, square up your hips, hip hinge, stack your rib cage, watch that it's not sideways on you. If it is, lower the leg, start fixing things first. Do not grip this area. It's not supposed to happen. Okay. So again, I'm going to send my arms up. I'll send it back. And I'm not too far back. You can see, otherwise I'm going to end up doing this. Okay. And then bring it up. Oh. And here comes my earthquake again. So this is difficult for me. And pull up, and then same thing with the row. So I'm reaching down on my row, like I'm going to pick up something, and then I'm going to open, scapula retracts, but not so much, you know, that I'm tucking my neck and popping my chin. Reach down and back. Now what's your back leg doing, foot doing? Own that leg, guys, especially the one on the floor, but don't only own that. You got one on the wall. And release and let it go. Okay, take a break, get some water for a second. All right, and then I'll set you up for the second half. All right,